Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Boxing, Weights and Rugby YouTube channel. Let's talk boxing. Today we're going to take a dive into the cost of being a boxing fan in 2022. Now the first thing we're going to get out of the way is this is specific to the UK. So everybody out in America, I'm aware the situation is much worse for you. But what we're going to be looking for is the average cost of being a die-hard boxing fan or even a boxing fan trying to get your children into the sport in this day and age. Boxing has always been a sport for the working class, with the greatest champions often coming from the most deprived backgrounds, leading to stories that captures the hearts and souls of millions. But it goes beyond the select few who make it big. It has an incredible impact on the grassroots, teaching children important values for life and giving those who would otherwise have turned down darker paths a road to redemption or salvation. One of the greatest appeals of boxing is a very low barrier to entry. All you need to start boxing is a gum shield, a gym, and a pair of gloves, and away you go. For many families in deprived areas, this low cost of entry is a huge bonus, allowing their kids, who often have troubled backgrounds, to pursue their dreams in sports. This is critical when you look at the appeal it has across wider areas, with lower barriers of entry in terms of cost and accessibility as compared to other sports such as swimming, cricket, rugby and even football. But now, in a modern world built upon consumerism and in the cost of living crisis, is that down-to-earth accessibility and affordability still viable, and how needed is it in today's day and age? It's going to be hard to hook the next generation of fight fans when it is almost impossible to afford to go watch or even see their heroes in action. So today we'll be looking at what it takes and what it costs to be a boxing fan in 2023. Currently in the UK we have three major promotional outfits, three major groups and bodies that represent fighters, and three major networks that correspond to them. So first of all we have Matchroom and DAZN, Queensberry and BT Sport, and Boxer and Sky Sports. This also means there are three separate pay-per-view branches for each outfit. Now you would think this cross-promotional and cross-network rivalry would lead to an increase in the quality of the product that we are being offered. Unfortunately, this generally leads to a dilution of the products, with people being unable to or unwilling to work together to make the biggest fights possible. The first question we're going to ask is, how can I watch boxing and how much will that cost me? Let's start with Boxer and Sky Sports. So Sky Sports is the premium broadcaster of sports in the UK, and Sky Sports Boxing is part of your Sky Sports subscription package. The cost of Sky Sports is either $33.99 with the Now TV package or £57 as a complete Sky Sports package with the basic Sky TV. This does not include the premium fights that are often on Sky Sports box office. Next up we have Frank Warren's Queensberry promotion, who currently are broadcasted on BT Boxing or BT Sport. This is an additional £10 to any Sky Sports package or $29.99 for the individual fight pass. Next up we have Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing and DAZN. DAZN are a relatively new streaming service. They were initially priced at £1.99 a month. This was then increased to $7.99 a month. And recently we experienced a third price increase. Now they now have three options, which is £99 upfront for 1 year, $9.99 a month for a 12-month fixed term subscription, or $19.99 for a rolling contract. All of the boxing on DAZN in the UK is supplied by Matchroom. DAZN itself was launched with the tagline "Pay-per-view is dead" and was a streaming service with the idea that your monthly subscription meant that you didn't have to pay for the premium fights. However, this drastically changed after Canelo Alvarez was signed to fight Dmitry Bivol in May of 2020 and DAZN pay-per-view was born, which is unfortunate given the video that we are about to show. direction cost DAZN a lot of goodwill in the UK and increased the already substantial cost to fight fans. So let's tally up the cost of watching boxing in the UK. Sky Sports' complete package was £57 per month for 12 months, and this works out at £684 per month. The additional BT Sports bolt-on was at its cheapest was £10 a month, and this was £120 across the year. The cheapest option for DAZN was £99 up front. Fight Zone was £4.99 a month for 12 months, and this works out at just under £60. So the total cost before any pay-per-view package was £962.88 for the year. So for any non-fight fans, let's go through exactly what is pay-per-view. And it is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a one-off payment for a one-off card. This generally includes the premium boxing, so your likes of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have traditionally been on pay-per-view, but more and more these days, the standard of pay-per-view and what it takes to be a pay-per-view card has lowered and lowered, much to the chagrin of many fight fans. In addition to this, the standard cost of pay-per-view has drastically increased in the UK across the last 10 years. If we take a look at Hey Klitschko, which was in July of 2011, this was a heavyweight unification and was priced at $14.95. Just at the end of last year, Fury Chisora, which was a voluntary heavyweight title defence, was priced at $26.95. This works out as an 80% increase across the 11 years and does not include the fact that the UK itself had a hiatus between 2011 and 2013 from any pay-per-view. We're also hearing rumours that should the much vaunted Fury versus Usyk fight happen, or even Fury versus Joshua, we're looking at over £30 for a one-off night of boxing. We're now going to run through some of the other pay-per-views that happened last year. And we're going to start with Joyce Parker, which was a heavyweight title eliminator and ended up costing $19.99. We had the much asked for Brooke Khan, which despite happening late, did occur.
Trying to get back with a jab there. Next one. In the first round. Oh, big shots. Uppercut two. And Khan's got a throw back. Oh, another shot. And from Brooke. Again, Khan seems to be hurt.
We had DAZN's first drop into the UK pay-per-view market with Canelo Triple G. Now this was priced more cheaply as it occurred at 5 in the morning, but ended up costing us $9.99. Very recently this year we had Chris Eubank versus Liam Smith, which was a 12-round middleweight non-title fight actually. There was no title on the line, and this set you back $19.99. In August last year we had Anthony Joshua's rematch with Alexander Usyk, the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and this set you back $26.99. Then early last year at Wembley Stadium, we had Fury's mandatory heavyweight title defence against the UK's own Dillian Whyte. I was actually at this fight live and remains to this day probably the worst live event I have been to. And this also set you back $26.99. Now, if we go through the total of all of those pay-per-views across the year, we end up at a total of £150.93. Now let's look at the cost of going to live boxing. Now you have things called small hall shows and you have the premier event. So we're going to have a look at the next premier event coming to the UK. And this is Anthony Joshua's 12-round heavyweight contest in London against heavyweight Jermaine Franklin. Cheapest tickets for this are around £40, with ringside being priced at around $800. This does not include any admin fee and just comes straight off the Matchroom website. Small hall boxing shows traditionally aren't televised, they are cheaper and they are generally well matched, but they are more up and coming fighters and less well known marquee ones. So your Joshuas and your Furies would not be fighting on cards like this. But an example of this is the Bendel's boxing promotion in Bournemouth, with your standard prices at £35, your seats up in the gods at £40, and your ringside being $70 per person. So let's assume you and a significant other, or maybe even a child, is going to 2 live events per year, and the cheaper end of the tickets traditionally around £80 to £100 that you can actually see the boxing. This in total means, before you even include travels, hotels, or any foods like that, you're looking at approximately £400 in tickets alone. So let's tally up those numbers. First of all, we have the cost of viewing, which is £962.88. Then we have the cost of buying all the pay-per-views, which is £150.93. And then we have approximately £400 per ticket, to not include any of the travel or hotels it would be if you were to travel to anywhere in the country. This leaves us at a grand total of £1,513.81.
Very lucky there that was not the point deduction. That's another awful low blow.
Complaints you'll find from boxing fans is that simply the best don't fight the best, and we are being charged a premium rate to watch fights that we're not even interested. In 2022, the Ring magazine published this cover: fights that we wanted to see in 2022. This included Fury vs Usyk, Crawford vs Spence, Canelo vs Beterbiev, and Gervonta Davis vs Ryan Garcia. None of these fights occurred in 2022. So how do we fix this problem? Well, firstly, it starts with pricing. We have to keep in mind that the target audience is generally of the working class, and rather than trying to get as much money out of the audience as we can, we need to keep the pricing so that it reflects the means of the hardcore audience. We also then need to start offering a product that we want to see, with the top fighters fighting more regularly, and rather than paying the already multi-millionaires at the top of the card ridiculous amounts for fights that nobody wants to see, make the money more evenly distributed and better incentivized so that we get the best possible fights. Now, it is not all doom and gloom, with many excellent fights already on the schedule for 2023, as well as some fabulous fights having already occurred. So we are optimistic for at least the quality of the boxing to continue to improve into the new year. However, the cost of these things need to be taken into account. Boxing is not the only sport that is currently suffering from a pricing issue, with other major sports like rugby and football all becoming more and more exorbitantly expensive for your average fan. But it's not all doom and gloom, and let's remind ourselves of why we love boxing in the first place. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And again, let us know in the comments section what sports you're here for. Drop a B for boxing, a W for weightlifting and an R for rugby. Thank you and have a great evening.